Man is here with me, Feargal McCormack. How are you?
Good morning, Rowan. Good to see you.
It's good to see you. You've displaced the news hub this morning because you're off to other climes very quickly, but you'll be back for important footballing concerns in Warrenpoint this evening.
There's many hours in the day, Rowan. There's many hours in the day.
But by gum, you make the most of it, I tell you. Other people who are making the most of the hours in the day are Invest Northern Ireland, and now they're propelling interest in their product through people who have innovative start-up ideas. They're making an impact, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Invest and I come in for a lot of criticism, but I think actually, to be fair to them, they do in the round a very good job. The Propel program is targeted specifically at hopefully innovative startup businesses who ultimately potentially may also be in a position to attract equity, third-party equity investment from business angels, or indeed from ultimately venture capital.
You mentioned something, business angels. What in goodness name is a business angel?
Well, a business angel is someone who quite often has had business experience in the past and has some spare cash that they would like to invest in another business. And quite often they search around looking for, not a large amount of money, but they search around looking for opportunities to invest their money in business. And you know, the bottom line is 1 in every 7 or 8 work. Maybe some might say 1 in every 100, but if you're a shrewd business angel, you'd hope to get 1 in every 7 or 8. And they bring not only finance, but they bring wisdom. They may be like a non-executive, or they may be a sounding board or a mentor. And quite often, there have been some really successful business angels over the years.
I suppose, really, truly, you put your, bless you, put your finger on it, that they're very often, it's about more than the money. It's about having access to that reservoir of great knowledge.
Well, that knowledge transfer is key here, and you know, there's nothing to substitute experience. That idea of experience in youth and experience in innovation is a good one. Now, I mean, within Northern Ireland, there's a business angel network called the Halo Network.
And, I love the connectivity.
And it has had a lot of success in recent years. I actually am very familiar with it. I've been involved in it. I've spoken at it a couple of times. And it's based at the Northern Ireland Science Park. And Propel will be very closely associated with it. I mean, in terms, you asked me about Invest NI in broad terms. I mean, obviously the objective of Invest NI is to facilitate, to enhance the capacity and the capability of businesses here in Northern Ireland, whether it be in knowledge and technical awareness, in order to create a sustainable international business, to enhance competitiveness in the international environment. So the core areas that they're trying to encourage now, they're trying to encourage indigenous businesses, for example, to improve their competitiveness and grow their export markets through helping them with marketing assistance into export markets, and R&D assistance, training assistance, assistance towards the enhancement of management information systems, the enhancement of processes.
Have you guided many of your clients towards Invest Northern Ireland?
Yes, I have, certainly, and will continue to do so. The other side of their brief, which is the one you hear a lot more in terms of the PR side, is to attract inward investment, or FDI, foreign direct investment. And they've had a lot of success in recent years. They're certainly outperforming per capita the other economic regions of the UK.
Are they the northern equivalent of the IDA in the Republic?
Yes, they combine the role of the IDA and Enterprise Ireland in the Republic. In the Republic, Enterprise Ireland helps indigenous companies, and IDA is responsible for foreign direct investment. In Northern Ireland, Invest NI is responsible for both indigenous and FDI. Now, the difference is, it's fair to say, that the IDA has probably been the most successful development agency in the world in the last 40 years. Per capita, the south of Ireland has attracted more inward investment than any other region in Europe. Now, the tax obviously is an important part of that, but also the people, the innovation. I mean, our greatest asset in the north here as well is people, but that's an area we have to keep working at, because we have too high a proportion of our people not sufficiently skilled, practically skilled.
But the idea in the Republic, the attractiveness of the Republic isn't grants. It's a rate, an attractive rate of corporation tax?
Well, it's one of the key factors, because if you think about it, if you're offering the perk of lower corporation tax, that means companies expect to make profits.
Yes.
Because it only impacts you if you're making profits. So all of a sudden you attract internationally profitable companies. Whereas in Northern Ireland in the past, not at present, but 20 years ago during the Troubles, etc., we offered grants. Now that's very important.
We still offer
We still, but I'm talking not
Yeah,
the same
but
level
not
of
the same
capital.
yeah.
We were selected one region offering capital grants.
Yeah.
Now if you think about it, people who, the preference, somebody wanting a grant weren't as convinced that they were going to make profits.
That's
so they
right.
they want the money up front.
Yeah, give it.
Whereas, believe it or not, somebody coming because because corporation tax rates, they were weighing it up over 7-10 years, because they were saying was over a 10-year period,
With confidence.
we're going to make a lot of money, and if we can reduce our effective rate of tax to 10% or lower, or 12%, well then, in world terms, that's a phenomenal advantage, because if you think about it, tax is a cost of doing business. So what these international companies are trying to do is to reduce their effective cost of tax.
Are we getting anywhere in Northern Ireland on introducing a similarly attractive corporation tax here?
Yes, I personally believe that it will be the catalyst for other positive developments if we do that, because it's a symbol. Now, I think before I answer your question, if you don't mind, I have to clarify one point. A low tax rate in itself will not attract FDI, nor will it encourage significant indigenous businesses to keep locating their international operations here. But what it does do is, it, along with other complementary things such as skill-based young population, investment in R&D, technological environment and scientific environment, they all contribute. Now, re the Northern Ireland corporation tax rate, my own personal view is that if the Scottish referendum is lost, that the Westminster government will then devolve tax powers to the regional assemblies.
Including ours.
Including ours. And therefore, I believe what will happen is, within a very short period of time, the Northern Ireland Executive will be in a position to make a commitment, a scaled commitment, to say that in 4 or 5 years' time, the tax rate will be 12.5% or whatever. Now, that's very significant, because most FDI takes at least 2 to 3 years to plan. So if you know there's a guaranteed reduction of corporation tax in 4 years' time, say, we will then see, I believe, a significant increase in foreign direct investment. The reason why it's so significant for Northern Ireland is, unless we have that significant transfer of investment from international markets and knowledge transfer, we're going to be in the same position in 20 years' time. We're still going to have a public sector dominated economy.
And a public sector that mightn't any longer be able to actually support it to the extent, because already Simon Hamilton's talking about huge cuts, budgetary cuts in Northern Ireland.
Well, you cannot continue to sustain an economy with 70% gross domestic product output coming from the public sector. So in order to create wealth, we have to grow our private sector. I have seen nothing. More importantly, the economists are agreed that none of the current policies will make that catastrophic impact that we need to change the fundamentals of our economy here. Now, there's a lot of positive things happening here, so I don't want to be seen negative.
No.
But what I am saying here is, if we want to create and fundamentally change the dynamics of this economy and get it, move it significantly from public sector back to private sector, something like the introduction of a low corporation tax will be required.
Things are changing. The land is changing in the Scottish referendum. The guttural roar of Scottish nationalism is bowing the knee, it would seem, to practicality and pragmatism. It's no longer a certainty they're going to go for it, if it ever was a certainty.
Well, I think that, to be fair, the leader of the Scottish Nationalist Party is perhaps one of the best politicians in the UK, and he has brought the debate to a level that on pure fact should have found it very hard to reach. Now, I must say I'm at a loss, and have been from day one, how Scottish independence could produce a better output for Scotland. If one's involved in the emotional game that we need to be on our own, yes. But if one looks at the bigger picture, why can't one achieve the benefits and the identity and the place of being Scottish as part of the UK? Now, the debate for Northern Ireland is not as straightforward because Northern Ireland is a natural island in terms of economy. So it's a different debate, and it's the whole area of respect. And I think, to be honest, the Good Friday Agreement offered the best solution there, which was the triumphant relationship, which was north, south, east, west, and also involving the cross community within Northern Ireland. So my personal view would be that I think that there is always a strong parochial vote anywhere. So I believe that it'll get a hardcore vote. I think when it comes to the crunch, if people are looking at you can't eat a flag, as a famous politician used to always say here. And I think when it comes to the crunch, I think the people who are in work will realise that it'll be a very dear cost to pay. But hopefully, I think what will happen is that you will see more powers devolved to the local assemblies if they're capable of managing those powers.
The building of houses is up, the construction sector seeing record jobs and record hiring. I'm just wondering if the Canadian man at the Bank of England he's beginning to hint and tell us that there will be interest rates, perhaps this year.
Well, yeah, I think particularly the southeast of England, the house prices are jumping very significantly, as they are in Dublin again, by the way. I would hope that maybe interest rate rises can be stalled to next year, but they are going to happen. Now, the most encouraging sign is that the construction industry is making significant progress from a low base, it has to say, in recent years. And I think that from that point, from this area, that's very important because we have a number of core construction related businesses operating from the area. I think that it'll be particularly significant that I think infrastructure in the south of Ireland in the next couple of years, particularly roads, will start to see investment again. And I think that will create opportunities for our businesses here. I also believe that, as we've talked about it many times on this programme, that if we can alert people to the importance of not committing themselves to an excessive level of debt, then we will be able to take the peaks and indeed the troughs in terms of interest rates going forward.
Debt on an ongoing week-by-week basis through the portals of your beautiful building, the mill down there, those who come to you, are you seeing, and in your general observations, are you seeing that the level of indebtedness of the ordinary business citizen of our land in our bailiwick is quite considerable?
Yes, I put it in a slightly different way. I think the combined personal debt and business debt is considerable. And what I think the changing environment is that people and financial institutions are now realising we are where we are, and that as long as we're honest and confront it, there is a solution. And we're seeing more and more solutions, which what they do is they allow people to eliminate uncertainty. They allow people to say, I'm willing to take a bit of pain, more pain, but I want to know if I take that little more pain that I can see reward, I can see the end of the road. And we're now seeing financial institutions and individuals and businesses coming to arrangements which both can live with. And I think that's very important.
Arrangements, that's the key word, really, in it.
They need, and you do need good professional advice, I must say, to get the best
there's only
out
one
of it.
place to get it.
Well, I'm not suggesting that I wouldn't be so arrogant to suggest that, but what I would say is...
By your fruits he shall be known.
But what I would suggest is that certainly professional advice in this area in particular is very important.
But professional advice, I'm not, not, as they say in Uri, buttering you up. I'm not doing that at all. But professional advice, good professional advice comes from years of experience. It's something that you grow over a lifetime.
Well,
the ability to give it.
I think there's a number of points there. I think, yes, experience is good, but equally knowledge is very important. So it's the combination of the skills of your team and the complementary skills you bring if you need from other people. I mean, certainly in our own case, we say we never sell, we only help. But if by help and caring, that by taking that culture that ultimately creates business. And it's we have found that model has worked for us.
There was an interesting arrangement made last week in the Republic of Ireland in the courts. The judge looked at the two Anglo directors and said, "Go from here and enjoy your community service." The two boys who were found guilty.
Again, on this program at the time, you put me over the week of the court case, and I think I gave you a strong hint that I felt
You did.
that there was a fair bit of unfairness in the actions against those guys.
Well, the judge criticised the watchdog. The
Yeah,
public.
well, I didn't hear the judgment, but if you remember, I remember you asked me a question. I said there was a case on,
Yes.
but from reading the papers and not reading them fully, but reading the newspapers, I felt that this was a little bit of maybe perhaps anger victimization, and it's back to that old thing: we have to forget about anger. It doesn't achieve anything.
Well, the community service will do them no harm at all because by its very ethos, it's contributory.
I think it's an example of smart justice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we can't end without recalling the passing of one of Newry's great builders, Felix O'Hare.
Yes, not only a great builder, but a great gentleman, a lovely man. Felix O'Hare stood out as a beacon in society. I mean, if you look in this area alone, built the hospital, look at all the churches and schools he built. But Felix O'Hare he inherited, first of all, from his father, Felix also, a very good business, and he went on to nurture that business, and along with people like Art McGuinness, and then they followed on by Johnny Parr, and then after Johnny Parr, there's now Jerry Gray and Damien Gill. These people have created a very solid business which leaves from Newry every morning. You see the trucks going all over Ireland, and Philly O'Hare, not only that, he was a great man of the community. He was obviously a former president and captain of Warren Point Golf Club, former president of the Rotary Club. Philly O'Hare in his time, again perhaps unknown to people in the area, was a member of the Northern Ireland Economic Council many years gone by. And I was talking to him only a couple of weeks ago. I always found Philly O'Hare to be a man who was willing to listen but then share his experience back. A real gentleman.
I always found him totally engaging. He took the time. He would stop and engage with you in conversation.
For he loved a bit of crack.
He did.
Certainly to his wife and 2 sons and daughter, we would extend our sympathy and say that, Felix O'Hare definitely made a difference.
He made a difference as well.
And a very positive one.
In my African schools. There's a part of my African school, the primary school, is there today because of the generosity of Féile O'Hare.
Always a very generous and caring man.
Absolutely. You go well. I know you're travelling today, so may, as they say in Africa again, go well, travel well. And thank you for coming.
Thank you very
in.
much,
All
Ron.
the
Thank you.
best.
Bye now.